What are the key IT priorities for the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA? How is the agency ensuring its field staff has the best technology solutions and devices? And what are some of the key cyber challenges facing government agencies? I'll explore these questions and so much more with my very special guest, Bob Costello, Chief Information Officer at the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. My co-host today from IBM is Don Van Hagen. So, Bob, before we delve into specific initiatives, I was hoping you could provide us with an overview of the history and mission of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA. How does it support the overall mission of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security?
Absolutely. Happy to, Michael. So CISA is 4 years old now, and we formed out of DHS headquarters, the prior NPPD organization. And we're comprised of three mission areas: the Infrastructure Security Division, the Cybersecurity Division, and the Emergency Communications Division, along with our field organization, the Integrated Operations Division, which also includes the CISA Watch Floor, the Stakeholder Engagement Division, and the National Risk Management Center. And then internally, we're comprised of all the offices that you would find at a normal agency, such as Human Resources, the CIO, and others. So in that way, we're a pretty typical agency, but we have the cyber-focused mission for DHS. So we are, America's cyber defense agency. So we provide a lot of the guidelines for the federal civilian executive branch. We have a lot of partnerships as well, as you can imagine, with organizations like the FBI, the intelligence community, and others. So we are not a law enforcement agency or a regulator, unlike other parts of DHS that may have those missions. We also have roles that are critically important, but maybe, if you don't get past the first word cyber in our name, you wouldn't necessarily associate with us. So the Infrastructure Security Division is doing a lot of the physical security, chemical security, but also has a large role in school safety and other, really important things to the American public. And the Emergency Communications Division does exactly what its name says, emergency communications for the federal government, but as well as, incredible partnerships with state, local, territorial, and tribal communities that occur all across CISA.
What are your specific duties and responsibilities? Obviously, you lead these components which make up your office, but maybe you could share with us the day in the life of the CIO at CISA.
Sure. Well, I think like many federal employees, often your day changes, other duties as assigned. The big role is making sure that CISA employees and partners have the IT that they need to be effective in their mission. So that's, rolling out new technologies, making sure that, systems are up and operational, making sure that we're troubleshooting issues as they occur and providing great service. So, all those help desk type functions are running smoothly. I think sometimes our days are very challenging. I'm still somewhat new to the role. I've been in it about 13 months now. So I'm still I'd say still a new CIO. So I'm learning, what that means for myself as I grow through my career. So a lot of my day is spent less, obviously, technology hands-on and more on how are we implementing policies? How are we engaging with our customers? Budgets, budget formulation, and kind of running the office. And then, of course, probably the biggest part of being an SES is, leading people, mentoring people, growing the team, and making sure that, the team has all the resources that they need to be successful.
Given these duties as you just outlined and a lot of incredible stuff you're working on, what are your top, say, three management challenges, Bob, that you've kind of had to deal with in your current position, and how have you sought to address those challenges?
Sure. Well, the office is growing, so I think we have one of the same challenges that you see in the private sector, recruiting the best talent. So as we grow, we want to make sure that, people are aware that CISA CIO is a great place to work. So that has been a challenge and an opportunity to recruit new talent. I would say anyone, when you're modernizing an agency, and we are on a huge modernization path here across many facets of CISA, culturally, operationally, IT, That can present challenges. Like we're often finding that we're rewriting how we do business here at CISA. So that's been a challenge. I think the other challenge, which is in some ways a really good opportunity too. My organization is pretty young in many ways, much like CISA. So we're kind of laying the foundation for maybe ensuring that the office of the CIO is continuing to run well 10 years from now.
I'd like to really delve deep into your IT strategic vision. Could you outline it for us? What are the key priorities for realizing your vision?
Great question. So I think some of them are, CISA is a highly technical agency across the board. So I have to ensure that my solutions that I deliver meet the expectations of my users. And that can be really challenging because when you're working at an agency that has a highly technical, in fact, a highly cyber focused workforce in some of our divisions, we have to provide the best. So I can't give people like underpowered workstations or technology that doesn't work or that's frustrating or any of those other things, because that will drive rogue IT. They'll go do it themselves. So as I'm modernizing CISA, my first year kind of concentrated on forming my office structure, recruiting some, high-powered engineering talent, but also, mentoring the teams that have been here to be successful and work in a new environment. Part of my tenets might be a little different. So first, it's like deploying great IT that meets the needs of CISA's mission operators at their mission speed. I think elsewhere too, it's ensuring that we're deploying and engineering new solutions all within CISA's guidelines and best practices. I think that's really important. And I think elsewhere, it's important too, like a big passion of mine that I learned at CBP is making sure that field organizations have the same level of IT support and capabilities as people at headquarters. So that's where I've also been growing my organization. We had our first hire that just started out in the field, and we are really pivoting to ensure that no matter where you are for CISA, if you're a remote worker, in-office worker, in the regions, you have the same capabilities as if you're sitting in an office.
It jumps into the question around IT modernization. What are you doing around IT modernization specifically? Some things that I know you work really closely with: cloud migrations, dealing with realities of legacy systems, and current technical debt.
Great questions. So I think we got a few projects on the books. So we are modernizing a very big system for the Cybersecurity Directorate, their mission operations environment. So we're moving a lot to the cloud off of on-prem. Some of the other things I'm doing in my office, like we're implementing Agile, and that was a big change. I think tech debt is a great question. I was actually just talking to people about that today. It's really something that I think we're all challenged with. It's how do you tackle it? I think that one of the things that we're seeing as CISA matures is, we don't want two systems doing the same thing because that can contribute to tech debt. So we're working across the line to say, well, which systems should be doing this? Can we all use it? Can we make it an enterprise solution? And that's one of the approaches that we're taking. Some of the other areas will be on like, ATO modernization as well that I think are really going to drive the agency forward.
Bob, you mentioned Agile principles that you're kind of following, and I want to dig a little deeper into that because we're seeing a shift in the way federal IT is delivered from a project management approach to a product management mindset. And I would like you to kind of elaborate on how has that transition and implementation of Agile methods helped in the delivery of solutions and services across your agency?
Sure. Yeah. And I think we know there's like as many flavors of Agile as there are ice cream. And I think one of the things you kind of hit on kind of when you read like the original like Agile manifesto and some of these other things, what really drives me in this is like the high touch that you should be having with your customers. And that's what I really want to imbibe in my organization. And I think you're absolutely right, like a change to product delivery, but you still want to deliver products that people want. I think one of the other big changes is delivering incremental capabilities. I think that's so important because we got so used to, certainly in my early career, in fact, probably up to about 2013, 2014, my approach was still, well, we're going to do the project. We're going to deliver it all at once. Let's hope people are happy. We don't do that anymore. We deliver incremental, solutions. And what we have to work with people on, because I think all of us, like as humans, we really kind of prefer that big bang. Like I can really see it. It's quantifiable. I can use it. It's getting people to see how those small incremental things produce changes over time, produce a solution over time, and making sure we really celebrate those as they're going on. So part of like our agile journey here is, being able to showcase how we are delivering these solutions over time that will dramatically change the IT landscape here.
Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing specifically around, workforce development, recruiting and retention, and, maybe hit on, some of the CTMS, cyber talent management system work that's going on now within CISA?
Sure, absolutely. Well, you brought up one of the newest initiatives. It's about a year old now. Many years in development, the accepted service system, the cyber talent management system, or the DHS cybersecurity service. So we are absolutely working very closely with DHS headquarters and CISA Office of the Chief Human Capital Officer on utilizing that program. And we actually have some of the first CTMS hires here at CISA within my office in the developmental track. So we've brought in some really bright minds through that program. It is different than the GS scale. So the pay is a little different. The compensation can be a little bit different. And we're really excited for it. I think it's been really a game changer for us here at DHS. And folks can absolutely learn a lot about it on the CTMS website, the DHS Cybersecurity Service. I think if you Google that, it'll come up with a lot of information on it. Internally, it's very important that you reward people, that you give people good, actionable goals, that you do good performance management throughout the year so that people know what they should be working towards, what they need to improve on, and that you're getting feedback on your own management style, or what could you do better as a supervisor or a leader to support your teams. We have individual development plans for our team so that people, write down what training they want or where do they want to be throughout their career. I think CISA is very fortunate to have a very robust training program so that we're able to send our people to technical training, leadership training, and send them to, great events where they can, learn in a conference type format as well. I think that's very important. So we're, it's important for me that my teams continue to get exposed to new ideas, and I think CISA is a great place to do that.
This has been the Business of Government Hour, a conversation with Bob Costello, Chief Information Officer at the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA. My co-host from IBM has been Don Fenhagen. Be sure to join us next time for another informative, insightful, and in-depth conversation on improving government technology and its effectiveness. Until then, subscribe, download, and listen to the entire interview at Podcast One, iTunes, or on your favorite podcast app, and as always at businessofgovernment.org.